Hey friends, welcome to Parent Cafe Live. Today we are going to be talking about putting positivity and kindness out into the world. And we do that when we can't control what's going on, whenever we're feeling anxious about something. It's a really good practice to kind of take us out of our own angst and put out some good stuff into the world. It changes the way our brain is working, changes where our brain is at in our thoughts and actions. So as we go through a active calming, the last step is wishing well. If you're using conscious discipline like throughout your day, like the way to end a school day or the way to end at bedtime would end with a wish well as well. So I think it's just a cool tool that you can put into a lot of different things. If you wanted to make the visual representation, which is really good when we've got little kids, so everything with the visuals, and if they're in their safe space, their calm down corner, you could use this visual. So I've seen it where they use like just a folder, not a pocket folder, just like a file folder, and you would open it up and you'd put a big heart in the middle, and then you would have some Velcro pieces, and then the opposite of the Velcro piece, so you have like your hook and loops, so whichever side you want to put down, you put the other side on some pictures, and the pictures would be of family members, maybe family members that we're missing or that we feel a strong connection to. And we can actively move those and do our wish well that way, because it's really good to practice everything that we're using with our kids. Eventually they'll just get it in their brain where they could just do the wish well in their brain. But as we're practicing and developing these skills, we're getting it more permanent, like the permanent pathways in our brain. So that'll be really important. Little kids, we're going to want to laminate the pictures. Another way you can do this is having like a tin tray or like a baking sheet. So you could go to the dollar store, get a baking sheet, and then some magnets and pictures. So we would paint or draw a heart on there, and then you could put magnets on the back of pictures that are hopefully laminated. So you could buy like self-laminating pouches, or if you have a laminator, there's a lot of different ways to do it. Contact paper works pretty well too, and you can get that at the dollar store as well. So the clear contact paper. So then as we're doing the well wishes, you could just hang this little baking sheet up on your wall, and then they could use that. And the baking sheets actually work really well for any of these the visual routines, the calming corner, like I am, I choose, I feel, those things. What else is it good for? Picking their breathing. Like you can use magnets for pretty much anything you want to make if you don't want to use Velcro or something. So with that in mind, my first question for you guys is, how does putting our head in a place of love helpful? So if we are not in a place of love, we can be in a lot of different places, but if we can force our brain to go, I care, I love, I accept, I wish well for whomever we choose. It could be somebody that we're concerned about. It could be this person we're angry at. It could just be somebody that helps us in hard times and we love them, and we're just going to focus on them for a minute and wish them well. How can that help us? It can help us a lot of ways, right? So putting our brain into the emotional state, so we're moving our brain up. So this is our brain, and back here is the base of our, the back of our neck. So right about here is the survival state, and then up here is our emotional brain, and up here is executive functioning. So as we move it up from survival to that stressful fight or flight, we move it up here to a more emotional state, which we might already be in because we're angry or sad or scared, but we turn that into a positive in here. It's going to put us into a better place when we move up here into our critical thinking and doing some problem solving. So I really like that visual of we're moving it up. We're moving it up into this good part of our brain that helps us make good decisions, right? So we always are going to do that by starting with our belly breaths, so our 3 inward breaths. In our nose, out our mouth, letting in the good, pushing out the bad, bringing in the good, pushing out the bad. I'm okay. I'm safe. I can handle this. I can wish somebody well. I want good things for them. I love them. They're a strong support for me, and I want nothing but the best for them. Can't wait to talk to them again. They've got my back. And all of a sudden you're to, I'm gonna solve this. I can handle this. I've got this. Or I know who can help me. I know what tools I need. I know who to ask if I don't. If I don't, I'm still just gonna go ask because that's what I can do, right? So it helps our brain do that. So wishing well, putting that positivity, that kindness, putting it out, sending it out to somebody that we're connected to, somebody we care about. Because even if we're angry at somebody, I don't think like that visceral anger ever comes from any other place than somebody we care about. We care about what they think about us. They're important in our life in some capacity. And so wishing them well is going to flip that. And everything, like everybody has another side to the story, right? So just because it's our truth and we're angry and they've hurt us doesn't mean that they did that to hurt us. There's probably some rationale behind that. There's lots of reasons, or maybe we just don't even know where they're at. They're having a bad day, or it's not about us. Or we really did do something wrong and we need to own that and problem solve it. And we have the power to do that. So whenever we don't have the power to know how to control somebody else's reaction, we're in a situation where there really just isn't anything we can do about it. Like it just kind of stinks. Well, we put that wish well out there and that helps our brain. It helps our body accept love. It helps our body stay calm, and it helps our brain do those things as well. So it's very therapeutic, very healing, and it helps you honor the fact that sometimes you just can't control everything, because sometimes that's where our frustration and anger comes from as well. And we have to focus on what we can control, and we can control how we react to that person. And I truly believe in that whole like killing them with kindness, or I'm gonna rise above. I'm gonna love them through it anyways. Like I just don't like focusing on the bad. I don't like focusing on the problems, because it's usually I want to focus on the solution. What can I do? What can I do to make this better? And if there isn't anything, like we have to be okay with that, or we have to do something about it. That's our options. So putting out that love and putting our brain in there just helps ease all of that, right? So when our brain's calm and we're problem solving, we can then be compassionate. So wishing that well helps develop that compassion and that wisdom to know that it's not like our fickle emotions that are saying, oh, my feelings are so hurt. Because sometimes they really are, and that's okay. But as we get older, I feel like our feelings get hurt a little less because we grow that wisdom and that insight. Excuse me. So as we get older, we build that wisdom and insight because of experiences. And it truly is like transformative to start putting like that positivity out in the world. So coping skills in general work better if they're healthy and good. So putting out love is a really good way to change our brain thoughts, and it's a coping skill. It's a coping skill to be like, I'm not going to let the negativity, I'm not going to let these feelings overwhelm me to a point where I can't problem solve. So what can I do? And I can send some love out there. And I feel like I naturally do this. as I start to rationalize things, it starts to come about. But I've actually experienced this through some therapeutic things I've done with my counselor. And it's really interesting where your brain goes when you start to use these positive things and what you wish for people, what you want for them. It's rarely ever bad, especially if you start wanting to throw that compassion and wisdom in there. Because you start to like honor and see the other person's side of it. And perspective is a huge thing. So like sometimes we just got to check our perspective. And this is a good way to do that, because if we can start seeing them through that loving lens again, it alters like where we are being so self-centered about how it's affected us. And we're like, oh, I can move on. I'm not really mad at them. I was upset because like I messed up, or I hurt their feelings, or I wanted them to be proud of me and they're not. So that looks like a lot of different things. So when you guys are wishing well, I think it's really important to brainstorm what that looks like for your kid, and age appropriate again. But like you could turn this into another ritual where you just do it at different times of days. You could use a teddy bear and they could speak to their teddy bear about who they want to wish well. There's a lot of different ways to do it. There's, you could buy one of those little storybooks that has slots for pictures. Like I had one for my son when he was an infant, and that was a good, like, let's think about the people we love. Like, it's just a good way to change focus. So that's what I have on digging a little deeper into the wishing well. I hope you guys will practice it and try it. Just give it a whirl. Just see. If it feels weird and clunky, like maybe practice it a little more, or tweak it. Like do it differently. It's just really important to like send out some sort of compassion and kindness, whatever that looks like. And maybe if you and your kid are like this, like super bonded, like when they're stressed, like them knowing and having like an I love you ritual with you, even if you're not there, they can like play that through their brain to help them calm down. So different times are going to look different. So don't be afraid to use everything in your toolbox when your child is struggling, or when you're struggling and you're trying to practice to see if it would even work. So that's what I have for today. I don't have any charts. I was reaching for like I had another one and I don't. So stay tuned. Please subscribe. Tell us what you think about these. See if there's different information you would like. Yeah, just give us your feedback. Like I'm really interested to see if any of these are even helpful to you. We will be doing some stuff starting in the summer around resources in our community, so stay tuned for that as well. So I look forward to seeing you guys again. Have a great day.